Hey, one another men. I want to talk to you today about taking initiative in the most important area of your life. And yes, I did start off by saying one another men and not one another marriage, not one another couples, because usually we give a shout out to one another couples. And what I want to do is, on a regular basis, talk to the men that are part of the one another couples or would like to join. Because what I want to talk to you about is how you can turn your heart towards your spouse to see your relationship transformed and continue to grow. That's the whole goal with one another relationships, one another marriage. So today's word is initiative. Initiative. Where I want to challenge you men is take an initiative in this most important relationship in your life, and that is with your wife. And if you have children, it's take an initiative also with your children. So there are just a few things I want to hit. I think we're going to hit 4. We'll see where this goes from here because something may come to my brain that I want to share with you. But the first thing is to encourage you to be proactively building your marriage. Men, you must proactively build your marriage. This doesn't mean that you're neutered or that you have to check your man card at the door. And that's a lot of times, it's a lot of feedback that we get. We do these marriage events and we and guys just think, I don't have to share my feelings. And I was like, no one's asking you to be something you are not, and not how God has wired you. God has wired you to be a man. And some men, there's like the scale, right? Some men can easily share their feelings and express that, and others, they're good. I'm good not sharing my feelings, right? And that's okay because there's a way for you. There's a reason your wife was attracted to you in the first place. And maybe your wife was attracted to you because you don't necessarily share deep feelings on a regular basis, but there's a way to be able to share with your spouse and to be proactive, once again, without having to check your man card at the door. So, we want you to encourage you today to be conscious to do one thing every day to pour into your marriage. That's what it means to be proactive and not have to check that man card. And so, do quite the opposite of checking that man card by doing one thing proactive and one thing productive for your marriage every day. It is a task that we have. It's a welcome task. It's a good task. It's something that we want to do. So the first thing, be proactive, and the practical way that you can apply is do at least one thing every day that you're thinking, okay, what can I do? Some of you are going to be like, I have no idea what to do. But that's all right. Start thinking creatively. Watch more of these videos. Think through it. At the very least, every day you could say thank you. You could say I appreciate you. You can just reach out with just words of kindness, or think about what kind of language your wife speaks and speak into that. The second thing is to allow your wife to influence you. Now this one's crazy for some guys to be able to grasp. But research would show that marriages that allow both partners to speak into one another's lives and into that relationship are healthier and happier and have a higher level of satisfaction. In fact, the research would go further to say when the husbands allow their wives to influence them, then that relationship is healthier. Now, once again, let's go back to you don't have to compromise who you are as a man. It's like, I'm my own man. I can make my decisions on my own. I don't need, you need your wife, but you don't have to compromise who you are. You can still be firm and say, you know what? God has blessed you with that woman in your life, and she could speak into your life and influence you. Allow her to do that. Figure out ways of allowing your wife to influence you on decisions. Now, I know we're how many minutes into the video, and I just told you to let your wife influence you, and some men have been like, okay, move on. But I'm saying, don't move on, but allow your wife, think about what that means. So allow your wife to influence you in your relationship. Now, I'll encourage you too. Here's the third thing I want to encourage you as men to take initiative, and that is seek help when things are bad. Here's the thing, you can't fix everything. You can't control everything. And sometimes things get tough, things get difficult, and they're outside of your control. They feel like they're outside your control, but there are some things that you can do. And that is, when things are bad, seek help. That's why my wife and I offer marriage coaching, and there are marriage classes that you can take. There's weekend retreats, and maybe you feel like that's not your bag. It's all right. Find something. Do something that can pour into your marriage. Don't give up. And also, there are a couple ways of giving up. One of those areas of giving up is you just leave the marriage. Well, for most people, that's out of the question. Just don't do it. But others, they give up on the marriage and stay in it, but they give up on the marriage. So it's kind of like this dead marriage for years. Who wants that? Who wants that? Seek help. Be the one to proactively seek help. So the other thing is that when things are good, because you may be saying, you know what, our relationship's okay, or we're doing pretty well. We've always done well. We worked with a couple the other day. We've always been compatible. Things are going well. I'd say when things are going well, or we feel like you have a good marriage, build on those good times. Be proactive, take initiative to build on those times. And so the fourth thing that I want to share with you, and finally, to take it home, let's take it around the bases and run for home, and that is resolve never to speak ill of your wife publicly. Never speak ill will. This is a way to take initiative and to build up your marriage. You know how it goes is sometimes, and I haven't heard this phrase in a long time, but yeah, my old lady in the ball and chain, or whatever it may be. Those are kind of old phrases, but they're new ways of saying those old things. Guys complaining about their wives or having things to say because they don't. And I know what happens. The men and those that have a propensity to do this, where else do you feel like you can go when you're frustrated by that most important relationship in your life? But I would say, choose right now never to speak ill will of your wife. Instead, get help. Figure out how to build her up. Consider the positives in your relationship. Men, take initiative. Take initiative in your most important relationship. Now, allow these to spill over into what it means to be a dad for those of you who are dads. And here's the thing. We are one another men. We have these mutually beneficial reciprocal relationships. These transformed relationships is what we want to have, turning our hearts towards one another to be able to build up the other, to have this great relationship that impacts not only ourselves but our world. You can do this, men. You can do this. Now, if you affirm this, I know you may not have a lot to say in the comments. Some of you will, but I want to ask you to like this video if you affirm what I've said to you today. Share this video with another man that you know, with a friend, a relative, someone that you think could benefit from it. And the third thing is that, go ahead and comment below and answer the question of times that you have taken initiative and the impact that it has had upon your life. Thanks for listening today. Until next time.